What up, brothers? It's Theclipperking returning for a special video, and I say special because it's not one of the ordinary style of videos I've done. Obviously I've done the reviews and the collection videos and just videos when I've been sat down waffling on, which pretty much like the Undisputed Truth video I put out. And I will say on that, everybody who commented and watched that, thanks a lot. I got massive comments on that and I couldn't understand why, because I thought it was going to be one of them videos that'd probably get a couple of hundred views and then it'd like sort of blend into your back catalogue. It didn't. It got some really good comments and some really good feedback, so massive shout out to everybody who watched it, and I will try and answer all them comments at that point. But I'd had this video planned. If you remember, about 4 videos back I did a collection video and called it the short version. Well, today I'm doing the long version, and when I say long version, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something that I've not seen people do on the collection videos. We pretty much start a collection video and we'll go like that, you show people around it, you move on, and you're passing these figures as if they're nothing, as if they're not figures that at one time had a novelty value, or like they didn't cost 150 quid each, or 200 or 300 pound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show each figure some love today. I'm going to start with the 1/4 scale Batman, then after that I'm going to put the turntable in and I'm going to talk about each individual figure while it's rotating, and you can see the pose I've got it in. I'll tell you my thoughts on the figure, obviously the initial thoughts and how it stands sort of over time. I'll tell you anything that I've done to the figure, modified it in any way and why I did it. And then I'll also try, I might be sorry for the sellers here, but I will try and tell you what I think of fair prices for each individual figure if you can pick it up for. Because I get this question a lot through Facebook. Hey Clip, what's this worth? Somebody's offered me this at that price, what do you think to it? I'm going to tell you what I think is a fair price for each figure, or the price I would sell the figures at. I don't overprice my figures. Sometimes figures go for a lot of money, but that's because that's what the market dictates. But I'm going to try and say what I think. If you could pick this figure up for this much, it would be a good deal. Like I say, I'm sorry to sellers because I don't want to sound like I'm undercutting people, but I'm just telling you what I would be looking to pay if I were buying a figure that's already been released. So that's what I'm going to try and do. So like I said, I'm going to start with the Enterbay Batman, and then I'm going to roll on to the 1/6 scale. Right, the first one up, it's the Enterbay Batman. It's actually said that it's from the Dark Knight film. In fact, it shows you that on the base. But as we all know, it is the Batman Begins suit. I think they took it from the opening sequence, or the first scene when Batman appeared, before he asked for the lighter suit where he could turn his head. But like I said, to me, it doesn't matter what film it comes from, it is the Batman Begins. But if you were looking for one online, you would have to type in Enterbay 1/4 Dark Knight Batman, and this is what you would find. I will say I held off on this figure originally, so I didn't want to go to 1/4 scale, but I'd seen it in a few people's collections. I got to a point where I'd collected everything 1/6 that I wanted, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to have a look at it. It was pretty much a toss-up between this or Joker, and I thought, to me, the Joker is nothing without the Batman, so the Batman would have been the first one I always picked up. So I did. I've got to say, when I got it, I was buzzing about it. There's something really, I don't know, catch your eye about it. I don't know if that's a proper term, but that's what I'm going to use. It just stands really well. I will also say, and be fair, there's a fucking 1,000,001 problems with this figure. It's not perfect by any means, but when you've got it on your shelf and you look at it regular, all them little niggly problems sort of fade, like pale into insignificance, because what you've got is a fucking amazing looking Batman from the Batman Begins. I will say as well, one of the key standout points, what I said in the review about this, it's more a silicone suit than a rubber suit. With that, it feels really smooth to the touch, and it's not a dust magnet. I always display that sort of on top of there, and I have to dust it less than most other figures, which is surprising because obviously other figures are inside cabinets, but the dust, for whatever reason, just does not cling to it. So that is a really good thing, because on a black suit you don't want it looking grey all the time because it's covered in dust. So that is one of the top things about it. A couple of the problems are the neck clips are basically shit as standard. There is little tinkers and mods you can do to get it looking good. At the minute I'm not even using the clips, I'm just trapping it with the sort of cowl section down onto the body. The belt is fucking ridiculous. The clip at the back just does not work. You've got to do something to fix it. or get it working how you want it. And the magnets on some of the accessories are really, really weak. So there is that to think about. Also, a thing I didn't like, the gauntlets, really cheap looking, and they do rotate rather easy, but you could put some padding inside there to stop them rotating. But just things like that, like I said, the little niggles, but they don't take away from a figure that is awesome looking. I was recently asked to compare this against the 1/4 scale Enterbay one, and I'd explain it like this in short. I've got the reviews on all these figures apart from 3. If you want me full thoughts on the figure, go back to the review, but this is like sort of a quick brush over each figure. So I will say, when I was asked to compare it, I would say, hands down, the Hot Toys is a better figure, all the way round. It's like, I don't know, it includes more. I think its facial, face plates look awesome, amazing expression, they're so realistic. I think the articulation is 1,000 times better. I didn't like the base on the Hot Toys one, and I don't know, a couple of things. I just think the Hot Toys one, they covered all the bases. But the flip side is, I wouldn't swap this one for the Hot Toys one. I just think this one, I don't know, it's sort of a straight cross between an articulated figure and a statue. You get it posed in a position you like, get it on your cabinet, it's just an eye catcher. That is the way I would explain it. Right, onto the price wise. I paid $250 for mine last summer from Toy HQ. I would think now, obviously, the figure's becoming more rare. I know a lot of people sold up when the Hot Toys one were coming, which I think were a mistake. I don't know if I would have the Hot Toys one and the Enterbay one, because then you would notice that the Hot Toys one is quite a bit smaller and the Hot Toys one's base is dog shit. If I had to pick one, I would have this. Even taking into account the problems that this one has, I would still have this one. So what would I think if you can pay somewhere around $280, I'm not going to include shipping because obviously I've then got to take into account which country you live in and this, that and other. For the figure, if you can pay about $280, I think that is about a fair price. If you can get it somewhere $250 and down, I think you've had a good day. Maybe stretch your centre $300 if you really, really want the figure. But anything over that, then I would start thinking, well, what else can I get for that price? So that is the way. Like I said, if you can get it somewhere $280, I think you're getting a fair deal. But then obviously the shipping on it's negotiable because I don't know how much do you want to buy it and how much does the seller want to sell it. All that comes into account. So that's the first figure. Like I said, the Enterbay 1/4 scale Batman. Beautiful. Right, the first of the 1/6 scale figures, and I've got to say this is one of the 3 figures that I haven't reviewed yet. At some point there will be a review up of it, but because I was always waiting to buy extra accessories, I always put it off, and I thought when I get that I'll do it, when I get that I'll do it. But I pretty much got to the point I got him a knife which I customised slightly, and I got him the syringe, and then after that I thought, well, everything else I'm then going to have to start buying hands that will fit all these things. So at the end I put it off and put it off. Dexter ended and I thought, do I still want to do it? And I thought, I don't know. But anyway, let's get in close and have a look. I will say this one was recommended to me by Rhino Faroki. I know everybody knows him. Sent me an email one, I think it was Sunday morning, really early. Rick, wake up, wake up. There's a Dexter going on Sideshow Freaks. It was just the head, the clothes. I think that were it, the head and clothes. Yeah, and a set of boots, which I really didn't like. I didn't like the boots. They didn't last more than a day. I thought, fuck it, I'm going to buy. What did I pay? I paid about 120 quid, I think, for the head and the outfit. And then obviously I had to add a body together. I did use the It body. It Figures body, sorry. Same one as the Rick Grimes has. And I just thought it was the best one to give him like a muscular physique underneath there. And then what I did, I put some thigh extenders on underneath, glued them to the legs just to give him that bulky look. You look at Dexter, he does look quite short and stocky, quite muscular. You can tell he's a gym user sort of thing. So that is the body I went for. I got some, I think they're DID boots. I just bought them from Kitbash Collectibles in the UK. They are like the ones with a like sort of green bandage that go up to there. But I put them on and I thought, yeah, they look like his stalking boots, so they were good enough for me. I bought a full set of Red Skull hands, one of which does hold the syringe. Now I can't remember who I got the syringe off. It was a guy through one of the Facebook groups. He advertised that he was selling some, and I thought, fuck it, I'm getting on it. It was about 15 quid for a syringe, but I've got to say, the scale is amazing. It has got all the numbers on and everything. Just a really nice piece. I can't remember the guy I bought it off on Sideshow Freak, so I can't shout him out, which is poor preparation by me because I would have liked to do. I'll just show you the syringe. Fucking game focus, you son of a bitch. No, I'm focused. But yeah, what I know of the outfit, and Rhino again could correct me on this, I think it's most productions trousers, which is unusual because I think a lot of people bought the full Kato outfit. But of what I've seen, and again, I'm not just saying it because it's mine, I do prefer these trousers, and they do represent the early seasons of Dexter better than the other trousers available, which have like the cargo style trouser with a pocket on side. These do look more like an early series of Dexter, which I do think series 1 and 4 were the best. The Enley is by Kato, which is awesome scale, fits really nice. The tailoring is fucking awesome. The buttons and everything, really well done. And the head sculpt, now I don't know if this is an original Trevor Grove head or if it were recast. Either way, I don't give two shits because it's been really well painted, and I do think it's an awesome sculpt, whether it's recast or original. So that's my thoughts on that. Right. What, any problems with figure? Oh, I will also say as well at this point, the decal stand was by Joe Turner, who is in the Facebook groups. You can find him, he does a really good job for a really small price, so that's good. What would I say on figure? It's not the best articulated figure in the world. It would only do basic movements, but like I said, what would you want it to do? Without having his freaking arm around somebody, injecting that into his neck, you're not going to really want to do a great deal with it. But it is a figure I really like, and I know Dexter, because of the last series or how it ended, don't get much love. But I think if you take into account Dexter from series 1 to 8, I still think it's one of the best programs that's been on telly ever, in my opinion, definitely in the last 10 years. Even above Walking Dead, I would say. I know Walking Dead gets fucking mad love, but I would even put this over that and over Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad were consistently better because the last two series of Dexter's let it down a little bit, but it is still the best TV show I think I've ever watched. What would you need to pay for one of those? I would think the complete figure now, because obviously the rare, the custom, I think you would be paying somewhere around 250 quid for a set like that, going up to any amount. If somebody's got the knife bag and the apron and the goggles and the gauntlets and everything, a full Dexter set, you could name your price. But I think a basic set like I've got here, like I say, on top of that I've got a full set of hands and then a big silver knife. I would think that's got to be worth, like I say, 230 to 250 I would think. I could be wrong, and like I said, I know the popularity's dropped a little bit on Dexter. But like I say, really nice figure. I'm proud to have it in the collection. Following the TV theme, as you can see, the figure in front of you is the Rick Grimes. It's a series 3 and it's by iMini-Me. I could get in trouble for saying that, but fuck it. Hopefully the AMC guys don't watch this fucking collection video. I will say there's a lot of good Rick Grimes out there, this one included. I've got it just how I wanted it. I did get the full set. Somebody had actually paid for a pre-order from Wyman to 16 Bruce, then decided they didn't want it, sent me a message, Rick, do you want to pick up the payments, get me Rick Grimes and me Daryl. Alright, how much is left owing on him? He told me. I thought, fuck it, I'm never going to get a Rick Grimes and Daryl for that price again. So yeah, I got it. I got the full set with both heads, but I'm only going to display it with a squinting head. I will say, and this might be controversial, I have seen a lot of different Rick Grimes, different sculptors, different outfits, I don't know, different paint jobs, different customizers, everything. And I've got to be honest, out of everything I've seen, there's probably one or two that I would put up there with mine. And I don't want to I don't know, blow my own horn or whatever, but I honestly think that. I took what were already awesome, the head sculpts were both awesome, and the outfit, the tailoring on the outfit is fucking banging. And I weathered bits, I weathered the jeans a little bit, weathered the boots, so the boots are not the flat light brown that they used to be. Sort of weathered them, got some acrylic paint going, weathered the jeans slightly, got his belt rig and everything set up nice, just how I wanted it. Before I move up too far, again, the decals for the stand were from Joe Turner, so shout out to him again. He does the nameplate and the decals, just stick them on, really nice. So I got the belt rig how I wanted it, got the shirt tucked in, sort of like the DVD poster, and then got him in the stand where I really want you to be seeing him kind of like that. So that is why the pose is what it is. I will say, we'll watch the shirt come round. I did, the shirt were already blooded up slightly. I took some like a burgundy acrylic, just put some on a sponge, sort of dabbed it thin so I wouldn't fucking wreck out, and I just blooded it up a little bit more. Fold the sleeves right back and put some on the sleeves, as you can see here. I also, looking at the arms and the hands, I blooded them up because they were just skin colour when they come. Watch this hand as it comes round. Sort of blood it up so he'd like got fucking zombie blood all over him. And on the front as it comes round, I just made the blood more noticeable. On the head sculpt, I darkened his stubble because by the time it got to the late part of Series 3, it was sort of pretty grisly looking. His beard was sort of bushier than it were at the start of the Series 3. So I darkened the beard slightly, just touched up the battle damage a tiny little bit on the sides of his head, and then sort of sprayed it down. Like I said, it's no secret now, I just blast it with airspray because it makes like a shiny speckled effect, which gives the appearance of like a sweat on it. Somebody said actually on Sideshow Freaks recently, what are you doing that for? Because I've done it to Superman as well. But I just think, fuck you, that's how I like it. I do my figures how I fucking want them, yeah? You can look at them and you can either appreciate them or not like them, it don't matter. But like I said, I do them how I want them. So that's what I did. I will say as well, I prefer this head sculpt to the softer head sculpt that comes with it. But all in all, it's a really nice piece. Right. Value-wise, again, because there is a lot out there, although they're not mass-produced, so I don't know. I think the value of this was, I think it was £300 to buy the iMini-Me set, and then about another £80 if you wanted the second head. So you're looking at a £380 figure. I think if you can still get one for that price, then I don't know, have a good think, because you're looking at a top price for a figure, although it is a top figure and not everybody's got it. That's the beauty of a custom piece. I will say as well, I did put the Phil Coulson watch on, just a passing thought because I've just seen it. Do you really want to blow nearly 400 quid on a figure? I don't know. If you can snag one for somebody from about 300, I'd say fucking do it and pull his arm off. Because if you can get one for that, that's a good price, like 300. But like I say, if you really want it and you're going to go to that 380, then you're going to have to look hard, because I don't know anybody who'd sell for that price. But I don't know, there might be some fucking crackheads out there who need the money fast. But like I say, really nice figure, and again, proud to have it in the collection. Right, moving on, we're going to start gangster tripping on your ass. And as you can see, the figure in front of you is the Enterbay Scarface, the Respect version. I've said before in a lot of videos, this is still one of my favourite sculpted eye head sculpts. I just think it's fucking captured Al Pacino at that age looking unbelievably well. I think more so than the War version, although the War version is more iconic. I just love the sort of relaxed, but I don't know, the sort of the intent. His eyes are slightly off to the side. Just reminds me of the scene in the film where Sosa gets thrown out of a helicopter. I just love it. I think the white suit captures your eye really well because it's on the gangster shelf and everybody else is wearing a black suit. So I do like the white with the red. Yeah, just a really nice figure, and one that all these gangsters, to be honest, you don't see them in every single person's collection. Some people, the gangster fans, love them and keep them. Other guys, the sort of neutral fans, they seem to avoid them, which I'm glad about, because I don't want to have a collection same as everybody else on YouTube. Well, Seth just got him posed in just a pretty upright pose with a silenced pistol by his side. And pretty much, it's sort of, when I do that pose, in my mind, I'm thinking of that. I know it's not identical because of his his eyes are looking the other way on the figure, but I've just gone with that thought in my head, and like I say, I've come out with that pose. Now I will say I bought both versions from direct from Enterbay. I think they were about 130, 140 pound each, shipped together, and I was fucking buzzing to get them. Like I said, is one of my favourite films, definitely my top 5 films of all time, so I do like a figure from a film that I love. It keeps the source material really high when I review it. The downsides, I would say the outfit is not the best quality. It leaves a little bit to be desired when you compare it to the Blitzway version, but I still say this is the best. I think this is the best Scarface, me personally. I know the black suit version is the more iconic and brought the better accessories, but for me, if you take into account the sort of the shelf life of the figure or the shelf appearance, I still really like this one. I know some would disagree. What would the figure be worth now? I think you could probably pick yourself one up now for about 120 quid, and I think comparatively speaking, that would be a bargain for you. Anyway, less than that, I would say buy it to fucking sell it, because every now and again Scarface comes back round, it comes back in vogue, or back in vogue should I say, and people want it. But like I say, I bought actually these again off Dean Knight and then sold them versions on, but my own versions, I would never lose them. I do love the film, but like I say, you could probably pick one up for about 120, 130. That is about the right price, I think. But if you look hard enough, you might get them somewhere near 100 quid, which I would say fucking get it. Obviously, you're looking at the Enterbay Scarface, the Respect version. As you can see, got him sat, bag of coke in one hand, cigar in the other, got his shades on. That is the Blitzway chair. That was the thing. I had the Blitzway figure first and really loved it, but then when the Enterbay come, I preferred those. But I managed to sell my Blitzway Scarface and kept the chair, which I think, if you're going to have a Scarface display, you need the chair in there somewhere. I don't always have it posed, because sometimes I'll pose it like that with the M16, but I do also like it looking proper fucking Pimp Daddy, satin chair. So, again, don't think this head sculpt is as good as the Respect version because of the scowl. It's sort of, I don't know, maybe the eyes, I don't know, maybe the shape of the mouth, I'm not 100% sure. But it's sort of, there is a scene in it, and I think it's when he's in the restaurant towards the end where he's really coked out and he's talking to Michelle Pfeiffer. When he talks, his mouth sort of makes this, and also the scene when he goes to Manny's house looking for Gina, and he finds out that Manny's been fucking Gina. Just before he shoots him, he has this expression on his face. I think they have caught that really well, but for like a neutral stance, it don't really fit it. But again, it is a sweet figure. Value wise, I think this one would be worth slightly more than the Respect version, because like I said, it is the most iconic. If you're going to have one Scarface, I would say this would be it, although I do believe what I said, that the Respect one is the better one. But yeah, like I said, the gangster collectors love it. The neutral fans, not so much, which keeps the price down pretty low, because everybody who wanted it really got it on release. So yeah, but I would say, if you are a new collector and you're thinking, oh, I want this, I want that, pretty much you're going to end up with the same fucking 10 figures that everybody's got. You're going to end up with a Terminator, you're going to end up with some Avengers, some Batman stuff, some DX figures, and there's certain figures that you're going to pass by. This is probably going to be one of them, but I would say, I don't know, do you want to be a sheep or do you want to be a shepherd? That's what I would say. But I do love both Scarface figures. And while we're talking about rare figures, here's another one. I don't know many people who have this in the collection. It's just a little taster culture, I suppose. Obviously, a lot of the collectors nowadays in the 20s, 30s, weren't even alive when this film come out. Like I say, it's one of them films you sort of, if you're interested, you go and find it. You get it on Blu-ray or DVD. Maybe watch it on TV if you can find it, and you realise when you do get to an age and the superhero films aren't doing it for you no more, then you do find these older films, which is what I did when I got into my late teens, and you watch them and you think, fucking hell, I didn't realise a film could be that involving. This is one of the best films ever, maybe the best film ever, Godfather 1 or 2, I don't know, obviously you could pick one, they're both fucking awesome. I think this figure, along with probably Blade and a couple of others around that time, sort of, it was like, I think it was Hot Toys golden year. They went sort of from, yeah, they kind of look like who they're supposed to fucking hell, look at fucking head sculpt on that bastard. Who sculpted that? And this is one of them figures. What they actually did as well with this figure is not just fucking concentrated on the figure and the head sculpt and the outfit. They said, let us show you something you haven't seen before. And you're like, what's that, Hot Toys? Fucking show me something, yeah? And they come out with this giant box with like a felt section that popped through. Sort of had a feel of a rose box, but fuck it, it was just awesome. And it is, I think it is still Hot Toys' best box. And I know people say, I don't collect box, I collect figure inside. But like I've said before, when you're paying £150, £200, before you've even opened it, you want to know that I've got £150 worth of something in this box. That's the way I feel about boxes. Like I say, it did come with a chair, it came with a cat, the glass, and a rare hands. Like, still one of the best head sculpts available. If that's not fucking, if that's not Marlon Brando's Vito Corleone, I don't know what the fuck it is. So it is a beauty, and like I say, I'm really glad that not everybody has it. Downsides to it, sometimes you get a little bit bored of it, because when you take away who it is, you could show it to somebody and be like, well, it's an old fat dude in a chair. If they want to make it simple, that is, if you couldn't put him in an action pose really, but it's just one of them. If you know the film and you love the character, then it's a must-have figure. If you don't and you're not interested, then probably pass it by. It is pretty rare now, and I would say the value, originally I would have said about 300 quid. If you could get one for 300 quid, then do it. But I think because there's not a massive market for it, some of these sellers have to come down in price to meet you. So I think, realistically speaking, if you can get one for somewhere around 240, 250, I think that's good for the seller, and I think it's good for the buyer, because it's one of them figures you're not craving for, but if you can get it at rate price, you'd take it. And like I say, the buyers on this one, they probably are going to take in it because it did go up to an high value, but I would say if you can move it on for around 250, you probably both had a good day. That is what I would say. Again, a figure that'll live long in my collection, simply because I love the film, and I do think it complements the other gangsters I've got as well. Right, and the last from the gangster shelf, as you can see, it's Carlito Brigante from Carlito's Way, played by Al Pacino. Another sweet looking piece, but pretty niche, I would say. A lot of people on release, I can remember the comments saying, well, I've never seen that, or I'm gonna go and look at that film because the figure's coming out. And I've done that myself with figures. You don't know a lot about them, but you like the look of the figure, you think, fuck it, I'm gonna go and watch film so I know what it's all about. For me, that wasn't the case. I actually went to the cinema twice to watch this film. Loved it. I love Al Pacino and Robert De Niro anyway. I pretty much watch out they were in. Especially around this time as well. They were fucking both bang on the game. I do love the film. I do love the figure. And I will say on the figure, one of the biggest highlights for me, not only the head sculpt, was the outfit. I think the tailoring on the outfit and the quality that Blitzway used on it, fucking unbelievable. In fact, could be unmatched in this collection, because the leather jacket feels like leather. The size of it looks awesome. The layers look good, not bulky. Really like that about it. I will also say as well, and again, not tooting my own horn, but I think it's interesting to know, Arnie Kim sculpted this head sculpt, and I reviewed it, obviously. It actually got a really good response for a figure that I didn't think would. Pretty much, you know, when you're going to put a review up, you know the figures that's going to get a big response. Obviously your Superman, your Spider-Man, and so on and so forth. Normally your DXs. I didn't expect it with this, but it got really good feedback. The best feedback I got were actually from Arnie Kim. He watched the video and actually sent me a comment on it, and I thought, what the fuck? On my YouTube video, I think still is a comment from Arnie Kim about a figure that he sculpted. Now, how much would that make you buzz? I've had it before as well with Denny Kim on certain figures. Sarong sent me a message when I reviewed Wyman's Jimi Hendrix, and like I say, all the pats on the back you get, they're all awesome. But for the guy who sat down with a fucking ball of clay and started sculpting away and thinking, right, I've got to make this look like Al Pacino in fucking Carlito's Way, for that person to watch it get produced, get shipped, and then somebody review it, and and still have, I don't know what it'd be, I don't know what word for it, but just to make me feel as good as he did by just saying, good review, really enjoyed it, and I thought, that's fucking Arnie Kim who sent me that. And like I say, it just buzzing. And the other thing were, I think Morris knew before I did. Morris sent me a comment saying, do you realise Arnie Kim's just fucking commented on your Carlito's Way figure? I'm like, no. He says, have a look at your comments then. So I looked, I thought, fucking hellfire. Like I said, massive highlight to me, and respect to the man for doing it. But like I said, it contributed to a fucking awesome looking figure. Again, not everybody's got it, which I like about it, but I would say, if you can see it in hand and then decide, I would recommend it, because it is a beautiful piece. Value wise, I can't remember what I paid. I think it was around 150. Might have been 130 actually. Might have been 130. Someone's telling me that. I got it from 16 Bruce Wyman. Now Wyman always does me a cheeky little deal. Might knock me some shipping off, or I don't know, send it out for me fast. So I probably got a sneaky little deal on that. So respect to Wyman on that one. So I got it, and I actually unboxed it at work, and I think again, because not everybody wants it, it's never going to be a big seller, but I don't know. I would think again, around 120, 130 for it, and I think that'd be a fair price either way. If you get it for less, then it's a good deal. If the seller wants more and you're happy to pay more, then I think you're going to get a nice figure, but I would I think around 140 I would stop looking. That would be what I'd say. But it is a sweet looking piece. Right, next up, I'm going to take a little break away from the turntable, because I wanted to display this figure in the Masters Lighthouse box sent to me by Wyman at 16 Bruce, and still on sale I think at a lot of places. I wanted to display him in here because he was a bitch to get in because of his size, but I think when the lights are all off, you've got the obviously this box, it is, oh, come off your comment. It's supposed to just, oh, maybe because I've got camera in my hand, those old static. You wipe the front of the box and the lights go off. Can you see them trying to go off? Bitches. But anyway, yeah, it's the classic Predator from Hot Toys. It is the only Predator I have now. I did have a few. I had the Super Predators, I had the Wolf Predator, I had the original Predator, but I got rid of all the others and I just kept this one. Simply because I think, to my mind, only the original Predator film is considered classic, and I still think this is the best representation of that Predator. I know it's set from the Predators movie, but I think it's close enough to the original Predator film to be the one that I wanted, sort of thing, or to be the version I want. Some people say the original Predator is more accurate, but I think the body is a little bit dated on that. I do think this is the if you're going to only have one Predator and you're not going to go mental and get them all, I would say this is the one. I know some of the others are nice. They're now bringing out the AVP Predators again, which do look nice, but I do feel that the articulation would be slightly hindered, a little bit more so than I would like them to be. But like I say, if you are going to just get one Predator, then for me this would be the one. Price, I think the price on this dropped to about £130 recently. I seen one get sold for somewhere near there. And I think for that, you're sort of 30 quid under release price, so he's done well. I would think if you can get it for sort of 140, 150, that's a good deal. If somebody's pushing you up to 180, I don't know, have a look around, I would say. But like I said, for the Predator, for what it is and what you get with it and how cool it looks, it is still an awesome looking figure. And obviously you're not going to see the slimy texture of it because of the lighting, but it is a badass piece. But like I say, if you can get one for about 140, you've had a good day. Maybe push your center 150. Right, back on the turntable, and another figure that I haven't reviewed yet is the Enterbay NBA Stars Kobe Bryant figure from the LA Lakers. Like I said, I haven't reviewed it, so I'm not going to go into too much depth because that might pretty much kill the review. I will say it is a really nice looking figure, and I will also say I got both this and the Jordan for a really good price. I was just one of them eBay days looking, I'm like, fucking hell. You got the figure, there were no bids on it. I thought I'll send a message to the seller. I did, told him what I'd like to pay, and he knocked it down for me, and I thought, fucking hell, I've had a good day there. So yeah, I did get him. I will say, the head sculpts are fucking unbelievable, really good. I will also say that because a lot of people who got this deemed it to have problems, the shoulder section sort of used to flow. I've sorted this one out, I'll explain that in review, and the body weren't the best. This is the version 1 version. They did release a version 2 straight after. Now, I've said before, I think on video, when I've reviewed this, I'm going to review it honestly, and then I'm going to sell this one pretty cheap, and then go and buy the version 2, which will be the one I'll keep. I think they changed the outfit. I don't think they changed the head sculpts. They improved the body a little bit, and then they put it with a big stand. So I need the stand to go with the other NBA figure. But yeah, really nice. Price wise, I don't know. I think somewhere, well, I know. If you were to buy it direct from Enterbay, which I think you still can, they're about 156 quid each shipped. Jordan's a little bit more expensive, but that's how much the NBA All-Stars go for. So at that price, you're pretty much limiting yourself to NBA fans, of which I'm not really one, other than the fact that I have started watching a little bit to sort of improve my knowledge on these figures, and also me and our Callum been playing the 2K14 NBA game on the PlayStation 4 since Christmas, and I am really enjoying it. So it has sort of piqued my interest in basketball. So, you know, like I say, when I got the chance, I was looking for the figures, and I thought, fuck it, I want to see them. I'd seen the 45 jersey Jordan, cause Matt at Toy HQ had sent me down to review and really liked it, but I thought that were a little bit expensive. But on these figures, the price were right, and I thought, fuck it, I'll get on them. So like I said, if you were looking for one, I think somewhere around the sort of £100 to £130 mark would be about right. I don't know if I'd pay Enterbay's price. Well, I'm saying I don't know if I would. I've just ordered LeBron James from Enterbay, and I have paid the 156 quid shipped, so I don't know. But yeah, I would think somewhere in the region of 100 to maybe 130 for these figures. And I think you would be happy with them, especially if you have got a passing interest in basketball. And then the other NBA player I've got is obviously Michael Jordan, which is a fucking beauty. Like I said, I did see the white 45 shirt version that Matt had lent me, and did really like it. But that figure went for like, I'm not sure what Matt was selling it about, but I can remember it being on eBay for about 300-400 quid because it was really limited. I always thought to myself, when I close my eyes and think of Michael Jordan, which sounds sexual, it's not the case, I would always see him in the red 23. So I thought, if I can ever get a red 23 at the right price, I would do it. And the price I got this for, fucking hell, it was more than the right price. I thought, I need to get on that. Like I said, I bought both together. Really happy I did. I've been having a little, other than Superman, which is my other new figure, I have been having a tinker with both of these players constantly, just trying to get that pose right, to get the look right, to get the outfit looking natural. I do love this pose, and I'm looking forward to reviewing this figure. So yeah, the price, mate, I think if you were to go to Enterbay on this one, I think you'd be close to about 180 for this version. Have a look round on eBay, because I see there's still a few around, but I think they're around 160, 170. I would think if you're a basketball fan, you've probably already picked this up anyway, but I think if you can get it sort of 140 to 150, I would say that would be about the right price for it. Anything over that, have a think about it. Under that, I would say fucking get it, hold it, and then move it on or whatever. Or at least buy it to have a look at it. But I'm more than happy with it. Like I said, the Kobe didn't have a stand like that, which is really the main reason I want to buy the version 2. But I still want to review the version I've got, because then it'll make it interesting when I review the second one. Yeah, really like that pose. Really like that figure. Right, moving on to the other new boy in the collection. It's the Man of Steel Superman, or as it's been referred to lately as Flavour of the Month. It is an awesome figure. It's amazing straight out of the box, and it's now proving that a little mod here, a little mod there is making it even better. I've got to say, I find myself with this figure, and you've probably done it yourself, my collection is in Callum's bedroom, as you know. When you get up in the morning, you're getting ready for work, you just have a nip in, have a little look, make sure notes fell over. This is the figure I come to first. at the moment I am loving it, and I can't stop fucking tinkering about just looking for that fucking awesome pose. The stuff I've done on it, I've pretty much rattled through first. Obviously the most important one is the cape mod. You either go to a Tony May cape if you want the natural flow down his back, or I think you keep the stock cape and wire the bottom. That's the option I went for. I pretty much stumbled across that because I didn't have a Tony May cape on hand, so I thought, well, what can I do with this? So that is what I did. I put the wire in the bottom, as you can see. It's posed from behind and from the front, so you can see it coming round. Tried to get the pleats. The one thing with this cape that is really nice is the pleats do stay in across the shoulder, so it does come across really nice. I think you have pretty much got to lower the neckline, which I have done, as you can see. And then the other mods I did were pretty much just tinkering around. I pretty much, again, used the spray technique on his face. I know a lot of people don't like it. It's just a personal preference for me. I also use it on his hair to get the sort of black greasy gloss look, which catches the light really well. And taking into account this figure is not pushed back into the cabinet, I've sort of brought it forward a step, so it's only really taking the light from the camera. So yeah, like I said, the glossed hair, and then the face, you'll see it catch a shine there. Like I said, personal preference. Glossed the emblem on his chest, and then on the piping and the gauntlet, as it comes round we'll see it. The piping and the gauntlet, I put the silver wash on, the piping under here so it catches the light again, and then along the collar, and then I use like a black wash technique on the abs. Like I said, there is a video telling you all the things I've done, but just for how the figure looks, oof, tell you what, it's beautiful. In fact, it's more than that, it's beautiful. Put your extra special beautiful in there. So yeah, I'm loving it. Right, I will say at this point, and I didn't shout them out when I did the review because I forgot all about it. When I was looking for this figure, before I ordered it from Gyobe in China, both Wyman said he might have some spares and Lee said they might have some spares. So if you're still looking and you haven't ordered this figure for whatever reason, you know you want to order it. It's just a case of how much you want to order it. If that's the case, then I would make them two your first port of call. After that, I would say get it by any means necessary, because it is an awesome figure, and like I say, quickly elevated itself into my top 3 figures. It is the eye-catching figure of the moment, so I would say definitely pick it up, even if it's just to have a look at it to move it on, because it is awesome. What should you pay for it? I would think you're going to be paying somewhere around 150, which is standard price. I don't think there'll be a secondary market as of yet because it's only just come out, so you're pretty much stuck at 150. What should you go up to? I would think if somebody tries to take you up to 180, I'd be asking them if they want you to pull your pants down. Particularly if it's unmodded as well, I wouldn't be going up around 180, but I think if you can get one round 150, then obviously, like I say, you've got the shipping to negotiate. So I will say as well, as it comes round, I did shorten the sleeves, pull the sleeves down and glue them into the arm socket so I don't get the awkward looking creases on the inner part of his elbow. So yeah, I'm loving my figure. You can buy it, you can do what you want with it, but really figure I'm really proud of at the moment. Let's just watch him come round, respecting with a bit of silence. Beautiful. Right, rolling on from the Man of Steel to the Indestructible Man. As you can see, it's the Hot Toys X-Men Origins Wolverine. This was the first release of Wolverine by Hot Toys, and I will say, in my opinion, both versions have moved on. I do think this is not showing its age because it's still a really nice figure and it's a really sought after figure, although something that killed it was the fact that there were a lot of copied versions from Vietnam got released, so a lot of people got them, don't know whether they got the original or got the fake. This one is the original. I was buzzing about it when I got it because I got it for a really good price. The price rocketed up, but I kept mine, and then when they released the Last Stand version and the Wolverine version that's just come out, then it sort of brought the price down on this one. So really nice figure. Strangely, not got him displayed with the clothes on because I've got him holding Carlito's beer bottle. I did have a cigar in the hand, but it were off of Barney Ross, and I sold Barney Ross, so the cigar had to go. But yeah, a nice piece. One of those figures that's sort of falling down the collection list. If I were to sell, then this would be a figure that might go next, sort of thing. Gets down there. But all in all, a really nice figure. Slightly limited articulation with a single bend elbow. That was the only nitpick I had with it, I think. But like I said, all in all, a really nice figure and quite sought after. Price wise, I don't know on this one. I'm a little bit reluctant because if you can guarantee it's a genuine version like this is, I think you could ask for somewhere up to like £200 for it. Maybe more if the buyer wants to really have it, sort of thing. But I don't know, I think the market's fell away from it a little bit. So I don't know, put it like this. If I put it up to sell for £200, I would probably come down to about 175, but then obviously I want shipping on top. If that's what I would look at. Now I don't know if that makes the price right or not, I'm not sure. I don't know if my opinion carries that much weight, but that is the way I would look at this Wolverine now. Like I said, I think the head sculpts are both improved on it, but I think people still consider this the classic version. I don't know. But like I said, I don't know what to tell you. If you could pick one up for less than the 180, 170 that I've just said, then I would say you've done a good deal. If you pay over the 200, then I don't know, I maybe would have gone for one of the newer ones, but that's just my thoughts on it. Obviously next, I want to move on to the Last Stand Wolverine. I will say straight off the bat, I prefer this version to the originals. I think it is, for me, more iconic, because I know people slag off the third X-Men film. I don't really think it was that bad. I think there's been worse superhero films, so I don't get as much stick as others do. And even saying that, I still think that that is the iconic movie outfit for your Wolverine. So yeah, really happy with it. I think the body is better as well on this. Did have this silver, fucking, what am I saying? Silver. The double bend elbow, which were an improvement. I will say I did have a little tinker with mine in regards of I sort of darkened his stubble. As it comes around, you'll see. I also blackwashed into his mouth to sort of make his teeth look like they were deeper set. I think straight out of the box it does look a little bit horsey. And I did wetten up the face as well. I did a little bit of repainting on that as well, if I remember rightly, but I can't remember what I did. But I do remember having that head off and sort of doing a little bit of work on it to get it how I wanted it. But nah, I am happy with it. And like I said, I do prefer it. Price on this, I think you'd probably pick one up for about 130, 140, somewhere around there. And like I said, then the shipping, you'd have to negotiate that with whoever you were buying from. If it were from Hong Kong, I know there's plenty around. I had a look on eBay the other day. There's still plenty of them around, so they are easy to get hold of. If you're a seller and you're trying to move one on, be realistic with your prices. Everybody knows it's not worth £200, boys, so I think you should be asking around the 150 mark with probably the option to come down. That is what I would say on that figure. Right, moving on to another Marvel figure. It's the first release of the Sam Raimi or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Really nice figure. I loved it when it came out. One of them figures as well, you know, when you get a figure like Spider-Man, put your review up, particularly if you do it early, you're going to get a fucking shitload of views. The Spider-Man fans out there, they love themselves some Spider-Man. So from some on YouTube and they fucking lap it up. Got him stood on the Last Stand version's base of Wolverine. I'm not rotating this one because it won't rotate because the stand's that wide, sort of thing. So just got him posed up real nice. I do still think this is the most iconic look for Spider-Man. Maybe until the Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out, when it gets back to the sort of the classic look of the outfit. Although I will say there is some little nitpicks on it. The legs were too bulky. The mask rooked up in certain places depending how it was posed. I don't know if it were oversized or the new one were undersized, but I don't know. And then I think they went and improved it with the black suit version, if I'm honest. The black suit is better than this one, but because of this one so iconic, if you're going to have one, it's got to be this one, sort of thing. Or that's the way I see it. In quite a nice pose. Price wise, what do I think you'd be paying? Now, this is another one. When the black suit started coming out, I can remember seeing that this one was going for about 200 quid. I don't know what it does now because I haven't recently looked. I think they're still available, so I would think, I don't know, maybe just under 150. I don't know on this one, to be honest, because I ain't checked for quite a long time. And like I say, I think it could be a case that people would want the new one now, although the new one has fucking more problems than this one had. I don't know if this one's showing its age. I don't know. I wouldn't like to say on this one. I suppose it's negotiable between you and the seller. I would just say talk it out. If that's the price you want to pay, get it. Try and obviously always talk them down, but I don't know. I would think about 140, 150, but I could be totally wrong on that. Somebody might pop up and say, you try and get one at that price then, Clipper. I don't know. Maybe it's up there, back up around 200 mark. I'm not sure. Can't really help you on price on this one. Right, moving on from the classic Spider-Man to this little trouble-causing bastard. More problems with this figure than any figure I have ever had. Not this particular one, but this release. You'll probably all remember the reviews and fucking videos I put out about this figure. The sort of campaign I got to get Hot Toys to try and change it, or to exchange it, or whatever you want to call it. It was just a fucking nightmare from the minute I got the first one, up to sending it back, and then Hot Toys sending me another one. I will say as well, I've got to be thankful, because I think this release sort of took my channel to the next level, where some people had known about me, I suppose. I found that around this time, my fucking subscribers, my attention on OSR and Facebook just shot through the roof. I got a shitload of trouble through Sideshow Freaks, but fuck them. And yeah, that's everything I've got to thank this figure for. I will say this one is perfect condition. And when it's posed, I do like it, and I do like this pose because it's pretty much balanced, but he's using his feet to counteract the stand, so I'm loving that. No flight stand required. When Uncle Clipper's in fucking pose mode, you don't need a flight stand, you just use your generic stand and you get creative with yourself. So that's the pose. Dislikes, obviously I've told you, be careful, there might still be some weak shouldered ones out there. I don't think they changed them all. I don't know if they changed any, if I'm honest, but like I said, when I got my second one back, it was a lot better than the first one that I sent back to them. So just be careful if you do pick this figure up. There's a lot to like about it, but there's a lot to dislike as well. I don't think I think it's undersized. Nobody will convince me otherwise. And I think where on Superman you can see his muscular definition. Look, even from that distance, look at his abs coming through. Why couldn't they have done this with this figure? It's pretty much too boyish. It's straight up and down. I think they should have put a more toned body underneath, like to represent the film better. But like I say, if you're going to pick one up, actually I've seen one on Facebook today and I think he wanted 160 quid for it. I would try and be talking him down to 150, I think, that'd be honest truth. If you can get one for 150, they are still relatively new. They might still be in stock somewhere, I'm not sure. But like round 150 for a pretty new figure. It comes with two heads. I'd say that's an okay deal. If you get one for less, then I'd say do it. But I certainly wouldn't be buying one like fucking toppy dollar prices, because I don't know, you might pull it out of the box and pull its fucking arm clean off. So just be careful with this figure. Nice, and I do love that pose. And it poses really well with the Avengers, I do find. But yeah, just be on the lookout. Right, let's roll into the Avengers from the Marvel figures I've already done. As you can see, the first one is the Avengers version of Captain America. I will say it's got me completely split down the middle, this figure, because I like to pose figures, and this one, I don't know, it's probably the figure in the collection that fucking pisses me off the most when I try and pose it, because the suit is that restrictive, and the boots and everything else, the neck. I don't know, you pretty much end up with statue style poses for him. He's not a poser's figure, if that makes sense. If you want to pose your figure and you want to get him looking dynamic, I'd say avoid this like fucking plague. It's a nightmare to do. What I will say is, if you do find a pose, or you get him in that upright museum poster pose, whatever you want to call it, I think there is something really, really good looking about the figure and really eye-catching. Probably the contrast of the colours, I don't know, the bulky gloves and boots, the eye gloss shield or whatever. And either head, I do like the unmasked head as well. Like I said, that's pretty much, of my Avengers, is probably the most up and down pose I've done, and that's really because the suit does hinder it. Price wise, I think the market fell out the Avengers pretty much after Hulk came out. Everybody knew they were all out now, they didn't need to keep collecting, and the price started falling. This was one of the figures that took an hit. I know Fury came down quite quick, Thor came down quite quick, Iron Man and Hulk stayed up there. I'll get around to them in a minute. Fucking Hawkeye is like rocking horse shit, you just cannot find it. But I would think now you could probably pick this guy up for about 140, maybe down to 130, maybe down to 120, I don't know. Hunt around, because I think there's plenty of him going. I've seen no end on the trading groups on Facebook, which is a shame because it's a really good figure. But again, it comes down to that, when there's 15 different versions of Captain America out, you pretty much pick the one you like and stick with it, or people will get that version, then get rid and get new one, then get rid of that and get new one, then get rid of that and get new one, which kills the value on each one. I've seen a regular trend in that. But like I say, it does stand well, pretty statuesque. I do like it, and it is like a welcome part to the Avengers team. But like I say, the price on it, it's not too high. Right, rolling on. It's the Avengers version of Thor. A figure I really like, but does have the same problems as the Captain America. A little bit restrictive with the posers. Although I will say I've got more better posers out of this than out of Captain America. You can get more extreme and it will hold it. Like I say, you have to work with it, you have to put all your skills to test, but you can get it looking pretty nice. The cape lets it down because it's neither wired nor the correct scale, so it don't fall correctly. So you pretty much find yourself tucking it behind the base or twisting it off to one side, or ever using a few tricks, maybe put some wire or a peg or something behind it just to get it to hold where you want it to. But then the legs are pretty articulate. It's just the upper body really on this. Like I said, when I reviewed it, I was really happy with the pose I got out in it, and I did get a lot of good comments on the review for the pose I'd done, going like up in air and different things, like baseball bat style with the hammer. So yeah, like I said, price wise, I think you're looking somewhere down around same as Captain America, so sort of 120, 130, 140. I don't know if I tell you to pick it up even, because there is the two new versions coming, so I know everybody's going to pretty much want them, which is a shame because I really like this one. I think the likeness gets no love, although I really like it. A lot better than the first version. But I don't know. Sometimes with a figure you just can't tell why the value's not there. But I really like it. I think it's fancy. Right, rolling on to Black Widow. And as you can see, I'll tell you, that's the futuristic minigun from the Endoskeleton T-800 that I've thrown with it. Simply because I got sick of posing her with the two pistols in her hand, and sick of seeing posers like that. So I thought, fuck it, I'm not using that minigun for the Terminator, so let's stick it in Black Widow's hand. And I sort of like the contrast where you've got big gun, little bird sort of thing. So that's why I went with that. Also, you'll notice as her hair comes round, I did... I actually not cleaned it, I wet it because there was already some kind of gel or something in it. I wet it, dried that out, and then put some sort of like a sculpting clay, pulled her hair back on one side and sort of swept it all around to the other side. So I know it's not movie accurate, but I just thought it'd get a rather sexy look about herself. So yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Sometimes the hair does get a little bit frizzy as well. I'm still not sure on these real hair figures. You see a few good ones, but I think you see more bad ones than good. But nice figure. Now price on this, again she were up there around 190, 200, but now the Avengers fucking phase 1 has passed, the price are coming down. People trying to sell these still, and I've got one in mind to be honest, because he sent me his price list the other day. I'm not going to mention his name, but I think he said he wanted somewhere around 200 for this, maybe even more, and I thought no, that's not realistic. I think you want to be down around maybe 150, 160, maybe even less than that. I think if you put it on at that price, you might get a bidder. But around £200, 200 odd, I think you're dreaming. That's honest truth. It is a nice figure. Like I said, pretty much only bought it to complete the team. And I do prefer Catwoman to her. But still a nice piece and complements the men folk well. Right, rolling on to Hawkeye. And this is where your money went, so to speak. now of the Avengers that all came out in order, I bought this actually not ever expecting anybody to even want this figure. I thought it was a secondary character at best, and it I don't know, just wouldn't sell. Well, not sell a lot, because I thought the Avengers people would want it, but I just didn't think it'd be a sought after character. Sometimes you pick a figure up saying, yep, I know everybody's going to want this, like the DX13, something like that. And I don't know, I never saw it with this, so I don't know everything. I will say it's one of them figures. However you pose it, it does look pretty badass. And like I said, the prices, fucking hell, you could pick your price if you're selling one, I think. I don't know if they release fewer of them than anything else, but it's just one of them figures. People want it, it's sought after, and the price is up there. What do I think is a fair price? Right, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say. If I were going to sell mine, because I know the market, I would be probably asking for somewhere between 220, 240. And I think that would be fair for me and fair for the buyer, because I have seen them going for like 400 quid. It's not a 400 quid figure, so fucking stop dreaming, wake up and have a fucking cup of coffee. It's not a £400 figure, no way, Jose. But like I said, if you're dealing right sort of £100 above retail, then you're making a decent profit, and the seller is getting a figure that they'd be happy to buy, because like I said, I don't think that it would be too expensive for it. I will say as well, really proud of that pose. Let me just get that. Do like it. Sort of moving his weight to the left hand side, but firing to the right. I think as well, that is one of the key things with it. The archery sort of side of it. The bow, it just looks cool posed, and then like as you see, the quiver coming down his back with the arrows in. Just looks, I don't know, nice looking figure. I'm not fucking, I would never put it in my top 5 figures, not in a million years, but when you've got a figure and you know, ooh, value's creeping up on that, I'll keep an eye on what that does, then it does make you look at a figure a little bit differently. Right, moving on to the Iron Man Mark VII, and as you can see, I've got him in full battle damage mode. I will say, this still is my favourite Iron Man. I might change when the Mark 42 comes out, but I'm not sure. The thing I like about this is, it covers every base. It sort of has the Robert Downey head sculpt, although it's not a great one, but you can go from, you can make it into like 3 different looking Iron Man figures. You can have it with everything closed up, looking quite sleek, but then you can go to full battle damaged or full war mode with the rocket pods art, and same on the wrists, like I say, all damaged up. Or you can go somewhere in between where you've got certain flaps open and certain ones closed. I would say the second best Iron Man to this, in my opinion, is still the Mark IV. I think the sleek design, the sexy lines of it is, I don't know, very appealing. And I found the Mark IV a lot easier to pose than this one is. But like I said, for the sake of having the Avengers set up, I kept this and I sold the Mark IV and 6. But nice piece, definitely. Price wise, nah, here again, we've seen 1,000 fucking Iron Man figures. Why are they all worth so much? I don't know. I can't honestly tell you. They're sought after, obviously. People want to do the All of Armour, so they are collectible. I don't know. I can't explain it. I think they'd probably go for about, I think a fair price would be about 210, but I have seen them going for like 260, 270. At that price, I would say you must really, really want it at that. The Midas, for me, as well, I know that goes for big money. For me, it's just a repaint. I'm sorry, anybody owns it and loves it, but I've got to be honest with my opinions. I do just think the Midas is just a cash-in repaint. The sort of uber battle damage version of this is a nice looking figure, and the opening helmet is a nice addition, although that one is slightly overpriced too, and I know they did less. The paintwork on that one is really good, I will say, but for me this would be the Mark VII to get. I don't know, I think a fair price, like I say, is 220. If you can get one for 220, I would say do it. Any more than that, wait for another Iron Man. And then for me, rolling on to the star of the show. Pretty much every Avenger collector collected the line with one thing in mind, and that would be the Hulk. We'd never really seen something like it, something this big with a rubberized suit, and no elbow joint as such. It has got movable eyes, which I don't know, is sort of a gimmick to me because you don't see that much of his eyes to make them warrant being movable. I think the head sculpt, the paintwork all over is fucking outstanding. When I got it out of the box, I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. I thought it just looks like a big Marvel legend. If you remember the review, I pretty much said that. But you stand it with other things when you're in a 1/6 scale and you can see how small the Black Widow is to him, or what Iron Man looks like flying around him. You just realise that's where my money went. I paid for the overall look, not just for the figure, and I do think he is an awesome piece. Posing is limited, but you can get around that. He wouldn't be that articulated anyway, really, because of his bulk, but I think you get him in a nice pose, and you'd be happy with it. I will say the downside for a lot of collectors is the fact that it won't fit really into a detov. You'd have it need him crouching or kneeling or something. You need a fair sized cabinet to get the full scale of him. I mean, I've got him pretty much crouched. Look how crouched his legs are. His side sort of hunch as if he's just about to throw like a right cross. Got the other hand out with the articulated fingers. I stand him on the top shelf in there. Now, this cabinet is about 24 inch from glass to roof on every one. And then this sort of 3-inch riser, and then a 3-inch riser again. So we're sort of, I don't know, 6, maybe 8 inch up. So you've got to have him crouched to get him on that back shelf. Other than that, I stand him upright, put him up front, and you can't see no bastard behind him. So he is very restricted where you pose him, but that's not his fault. You should have a setup ready for him if you're going to buy a beast or a figure like this. Price wise, now I got a pretty good deal off a good friend called Evram Leventler. When I thought all hope were lost, I thought I weren't going to get one, and I thought I'm going to be waiting for fucking time to get it. I don't know, there just seemed to be a lot of problems around this figure, like the length of time you had to wait to get it, and people not being able to get them, and so on and so forth. The price of it, the early release price was fucking astronomical. You were looking at like 450 quid to get it, which made me pass on it. I did intend on getting the early release one, but I thought, I'm not paying that fucking price, that's fucking drug money. So I waited for the release, and I got it, and like I said, when I took it out of the box, I went, fucking like shit. Then I got it home, posed with everything else, no, and it's fucking awesome. So I think if you can get one for $250, somewhere between $250 $260, I think that'd be about right. You might get them less than that now. I haven't really checked recently. Any less than $250 for an oak though, I think is pretty good money, because you're sort of talking that is similar size to the Batman up there, and like I said, I value that at about $280 earlier, so that one at $250 would be quite reasonable. Right, that's the Marvel stuff behind us. Let's move on to the T-800 Endoskeleton. I will say firstly, I bought this from Dean Knight, and massive shout out to him. Last summer I think it were, give me a call. He said, I'm selling up some of the collection rig, I wanted to know if you were interested first. I think he wanted to sell in bulk, sort of helped his needs better. Weren't sure how much he wanted for stuff, and didn't really, I don't think he was really sure about on shipping sort of thing. So he came to me, I said, well, what are you selling? He told me everything. I was like, well, I've got that, I don't really want that, I'm not sure on that. He says, well, I can do you at good prices, have a think about it. So anyway, in end, I bought this, Ghost Rider, both versions of Scarface again, the Men in Black. Or there's something else. There might have been something else. But I bought about 5 or 6 figures off him anyway. Obviously, Ghost Rider I moved on the Men in Black, and I moved on the other Scarface figures, and this I think is the only one left. And the reason I've kept it is because it goes with my display really well. Now, I'm not going to go straight from this onto the other Terminators, because I want to do all the DX figures at the end. So let's just have a look at this one. I will say the articulation is awesome on it. And again, this is a figure that you don't see in everybody's collection, which I'm really happy about. I do like a bit of individuality in the collection. I've never been like a line completer as such. I'd sooner just pick the key characters and have like a small, tidy looking, I say small, I shouldn't really say small, I'm about 44, 45 figures, so I shouldn't really call it small, because there's people who have smaller, but then there's people who have massive collections. So I don't know, I'm somewhere in the middle, but I do like to have that smaller, tidy look sort of thing, where you can see every figure and you've got room to display. And I do like it when I've got figures that not everybody's got sort of thing. That's the point I'm trying to make, and I'm fucking being long-winded about it. Like I said, really well articulated, poses really well, looks good with the Terminator display. Value-wise, I ain't got a fucking clue, if I'm honest. I think I could sell this tomorrow because I know somebody who really wants it. I won't rob that guy's eyes out because I think he's a really good guy, and that's Bart who I'm talking about. He might have got one now, but I know he always mentions it to me. If I ever mention selling something, he's like, you better sell me that fucking Endoskeleton Terminator, and I definitely would. The value, I ain't got a clue. I don't even know what I paid Dean for it, to be honest, because I bought that many figures for a lump sum of money. I don't know which each figure would have worked out. I think because it's rare, you're looking somewhere 150 to 180, I would think. I'm not sure, there might be plenty around and the values come down. Obviously they've released the 1/4 version, but I don't know. I honestly don't know the value. If I were going to sell this, if Bart wanted it, it would go to him. I don't know what the price will. We'd have to negotiate on that. But I would think if you're trying to find one on eBay, I don't know, it's one of them, you don't get a lot with it. But if you want it with your Terminator display, have you got to have it? I don't know. Because of its rarity, does that make it more valuable? Or because it's lightweight, does that make it less valuable? I don't know. But like I say, if I were to put this one up, I'd be looking for 150 plus sort of thing. Or I'd probably advertise it a bit higher and let somebody think they were bringing me down on price. So that is what I would do. Again, a nice piece, and let's roll on. Right, rolling on to the second female in the collection. And this one sort of not restored me faith in female figures, but sort of broadened me horizons. Before, I'd always pretty much slagged them off and thought, oh, the Barbie-esque, scale shit and blah blah blah. This one, when I opened it, I thought, fuck, this is proper awesome sort of thing. Black Widow were good, but this one was a step above for me. I liked everything about it. I think the fine hair were a lot better, although it were niggly as fuck to put them goggles on, because you had to sort of trap the hair back behind the ears, which were a bit of a pain in the arse sort of thing, but once it's done, I suppose. I actually like the head sculpt. I know some people disrespected it and said there were other better versions out there, or send it off and get it repainted. I don't think it's bad enough to have it repainted. I think it might have been Dean Knight actually who said in a recent video, it's not so much Anne Hathaway, but it is Selena Kyle, and I think I'd agree with that. I think there's something really cool about it. I like the intent in her eyes. She's not all smiley and, I don't know, super pretty sort of thing, but you definitely know who it is, and I just do like the expression and everything. I certainly wouldn't pay a person to repaint this head, because I think this head is awesome as it is. I know a lot of people come out, no, this is wrong, and her lips should be fuller and her eyes should be bigger and blah blah blah. I think that is close enough. There's a lot of figures in this collection not as close to who's they're supposed to be as this one is, so there's no way I would have it repainted. Pose wise, pretty simple, up and down. Just got that like in a pose with like a bit of air and mystery about her. She's got a gun up but not aiming it. She's saying that, showing you, I've got a gun, and then the hand behind, you're kind of thinking, what the fucking hell she got behind there? Obviously we can see nothing, but I do like the mystique, and that's what I was thinking about when I put her into this pose. She does pose really well with the other, with the Batman, Joker and Bane. Like I said, I'll go on to Bane next, but Batman and Joker, because the DX figures will appear in chronological order of the DX figures. Value wise, I've seen these go for really good money, and when I say good money, I mean big money. I didn't pay a lot for this. I got this off Lee Ward, and he looked after me on it. And when I say looked after me, we all know it means he deducted me a little bit of money to shout him out. That's what we mean by looked after me. So yeah, he looked after me on this one. Might have done me some shipping or knocked me a percentage off. I don't know value now, because I haven't looked for a while. I would think 130, 140. I may be wrong, because I have seen it going like right up to 190. I think 190 is asking a bit too much, and obviously the Dark Knight's now ended, so the price will steadily come down, I think. Although this were another figure, there didn't seem to be a lot of them around, or they took a long time to get to England, so I don't know. I couldn't accurately gear a price. I think if I'd not bought from Lee, I would have probably gone to 150 and waited, and that is probably what I would recommend that you guys do. Right, rolling on to Bane, another figure I had a lot of fun with. Those who follow my channel and watch it religiously will remember I swapped out the upper body with a DX10 upper body just to get the double jointed elbows. I just thought that stock version were fucking ridiculous. To have a figure with such a key signature pose and not be able to do it, it just boggled my brain. So I just went about it, got the figure sorted. Like I said, the video is on my channel. Please go back and have a look at the Bane mod video. Don't know how far back it is. And it was basically to get him into that pose so he could hold his braces. So yeah, any figure I do spend time with and I think, oh well, it looks awesome, but I think I can sort of take it to the next level or change it up so not everybody will have the same or whatever. For whatever the reason, I do like to have a tinker about with these figures. So that's what I did on this one. Again, a lot of people do have this in the collection, understandably, because they are Dark Knight fans or the Batman trilogy fans. So this were like sort of must-have figure early doors. Pretty much like the DX12 and 11. People knew they wanted it early. But like I say, I do like the fact that if a person pops up and they don't say, oh, nice Bane figure, where'd you get it from? But they will pop up and say, how the fuck did you get your Bane to look like that? I can't get my hands anywhere near. And then I would have to refer them back to the modification video. So I do like that about the figure. Price wise, I think 180 is a fair price on Bane. And the reason I say that is because I've seen them go for more than 200. I did have two versions of Bane, and I think mine went for around 180. Might have been a little bit less, I can't remember. But I think that's a fairish price because, I don't know, it weren't a massive price when it came out, but it one of those instantly sought after, and you could see they were running out on eBay pretty fast. So I think if you can pick a Bane up for 180, that's not a bad price. If it passes 200, I would say, nah, I'm not having that. It's not a £200 figure. For me, a £200 figure, you're looking at either a big figure or a DX figure or a custom figure. An MMS Hot Toys for over £200, I don't know. I don't know. A bit of a bad taste to me. So like I say, if you can get one for about 180, I think you'd be more than happy with it. If you can pick one up for less than that, that's a fucking beautiful. Right, getting you 2 for 1. Let's get through these Michael Jacksons. As you can see, I've got the Thriller version and the Beat It version. Both really nice figures. I will go in and show you that I did do some repainting on both of these and the bad version, which will come next. Just to strengthen them, make them look. Around this time, 83, 84, Michael was sort of rocking a bit of a bum fluff top lip. So I went in, put that on, sort of darkened up around the cheekbones, lightened up the lips, sort of the bottom lip more so. Yeah, darken around the eyes a little bit. Gloss the hair to make them look wet look. Gotta let your soul glow. Just got some soul glow hair going on, mid-80s, beautiful. Yeah, out of the two, I do prefer the Beat It version. I think the Thriller version is a little bit soft and is probably the lowest value Michael Jackson out there that you could get. You could probably pick one up for about 130, 140. I would think the Beat It version you're looking 150, 160. Don't get a lot with them. You would have to be a out and out Michael Jackson fan, I think, to even be interested in them. But I am, and Callum's a Michael Jackson fan, so they're pretty much no-brainers for me. So I do like them, but again, you're not going to see them in everybody's collection because not everybody's into Michael Jackson. And you find, which really fucking pisses me off, every time a picture of Michael Jackson gets shown or a mention of the Hot Toys figure, somebody's got to pop up with the usual fucking Jimmy Savile fucking comment or paedophile, blah blah blah. All I would say is you were found not guilty, guys, and he's fucking dead. So let's fucking relax, yeah. If you don't want the figure, don't buy it, but you don't have to fucking tell us your thoughts on Michael Jackson every time he gets mentioned, because he gets boring, and that's for some of you on Facebook who do it constantly. But anyway, so I've told you the price. The poses are pretty simple. I do like them. Pretty much use them as a backdrop to the bad version. But if I was asked which the best were, I would say it would Beat It for the head sculpt. Yeah, that would be my thoughts. Right brothers, we find his way onto the DX figures, and I'm going to go through these in number order. So I did have the DX01 and 2, Batman and Joker, or Joker and Batman, and I loved them when I got them, but once they got superseded by the DX11 and 12, I thought I pretty much only want the sort of the superior version, so I did sell on the DX1 and 2, but I have had them. So if I mention them, I do know what I'm talking about, sort of thing. I suppose that's why I'm telling you. But anyway, after the Joker, then Batman, came the bad version of Michael Jackson. I remember a poll on Facebook a while back, which version of Michael Jackson would you most want? And I think bad won it, hands down. And then they produced this figure. I don't know if anybody remembers that vote. I can't even remember what it was on. Probably on Facebook on somewhere. But anyway, this were the version I would have wanted as well. So I thought the costume were really intricate. Fucking hell, say your words. Intricate, but also iconic. I know the Smooth Criminal, people still want that, and I would like it myself, although it is pretty much just a white suit with a white hat. This was the version I wanted. I will say as well, I have repainted the head. I remember looking online. There's a painter called Noel Cruz, spelt C-R-U-Z, I think, and he'd repainted one of these, and I looked at it and it was awesome, and I sent him no end of messages. How much would you want for that head sculpt, or how much would it cost me to have that done to mine? Anyway, he never ever answered, and I thought, in end, what has he really done to it? He'd pretty much stripped it down and repainted it, and he'd done a fucking awesome job. Anybody wants to look it up, have a look. He has got his own site, like I say, it's called Noel Cruz. He also did the Thriller version. And a lot of the repaint I did, I tried to copy him. Obviously, with a lot less skill than he'd got, but I pretty much looked, what has he done? Well, he made the eyes look bigger, so I thought, well, how do I make the eyes look bigger? On this, what I actually did was, I took the Pur's art, I got like a... I warmed the head up and got like a... not a screwdriver, but like an oil press sort of thing. And I actually pushed it through the back of the eyes to sort of open the eye up slightly. Not a massive amount, but because the thing was small, the sculpt were warm, it came through pretty easy, which opened the eye up a little bit. I also then realised that if you painted the underside of the eye, like the lower eyelid, a lighter colour, that makes it look like it's the eyeball. So I did that, so then it opened the eye up a little bit. And then what I did is I darkened up the eye makeup, which it looks like if you look at the Bad album cover. I then put some colour through his cheeks, but then put a black wash underneath his cheekbones, so to give him like sort of that definition, that highly chiselled face. Same down the side of the nose, and sort of lengthened his sideburns area. And then again, I sprayed down his hair to make it look wet look. Let me just stop this rotation actually, because then you might see what I mean. So the lower lip I repainted, I widened the eyes slightly, darkened around the eyes to get a striking appearance from a distance, made his sideburns longer. All these Michael Jacksons have been really nice, but very soft paint work on them. But I've just basically strengthened the paint job. I'm not saying it looks better, but it's to my taste. Value on this figure, fucking hell, I think about 200 quid. I could be wrong, but about 200 quid. I think most of the DXs, or a lot of them, you'd be looking around there for them, especially if the ones that's been out 2-3 years, because they're hard to find. There is a lot of Michael Jackson fans still in the world, so I think if you wanted to pick one up, you'd be looking around here. If you could get one down as low as 180, I would say well done. But like I say, I think a fair price would be about 200. But I would think you'd need to be a Michael Jackson fan to be paying that. I will say as well, I did used to have the Billie Jean version, which ironically is the worst version by far, yet is worth a fucking shitload of money. I've seen them going for like 1,400 quid at one time, about 1,100 quid, and I think if there's any on eBay now, I bet there's still 700 quid upwards, like $1,100, something like that. But like I said, I think this version probably goes for about 200 quid. Right, moving on to the DX04, and it was the Enterbay Bruce Lee. Now, funnily enough, I've got two versions displayed, none of them wearing any clothes from the Enter the Dragon. What I went with is a custom Game of Death suit for this one, and a custom Way of the Dragon for this one. Obviously, I've still got the clothes to make that figure complete. I also did a bit of a haircut job on that hair sculpt, but not on this one. That one's still stock. You'll see the other one when it comes round. Here we come. Sort of trimmed the hair to make it look a little bit more like in Way of the Dragon. So, more a sort of fringe kind of thing. And trimmed it at the sides to give him the pointed sideburns look. So yeah, that's all I've done on that, and then swapped out the clothes, getting focus camera. Really nice figure, and if you bought it with the spare suit, the Sideshow exclusive, were really good value. Probably second best value only to the Luke Skywalker. I will say the figure is slowly moving down the collection shelves. It's obviously not as eye-catching as some of the other stuff I've got, or because I've got the two Bruces, they're in a Detov cabinet quite low down. But I do still really like them. It's nice to have the iconic Bruce Lee in your collection somewhere. I will also say, somewhere floating around house, I've got this smiling casual suit head sculpt, because my second body is from the casual outfit version, which again were a nice figure, but I only really bought it for the body. Like I said, I do like them as a display, but I say as time goes on, they sort of slowly move down. Price wise, I think for a single body version of Enter the Dragon, I think again you're looking for about £200, £210. Maybe there might be some like pottering around for fucking 190, 180. At that price, they're a steal. Above that, you'd be looking, like I said, I think the fair price would be about 210. I will say if you want a two-body version, then you've got to be bumped straight up to about fucking 300, because that Bruce Lee body became very hard to find. You basically had to buy the suit version or the casual outfit version to get that Bruce Lee body. Obviously it's a sculpted body and it is modelled specifically for Bruce. So nice figure. Like I say, for the normal one body version, I think you'd be looking at £200, £210. Moving on to the DX05, and this is a figure I really like. It's always displayed really high in my collection. I do like the character, I do like the films, and I do like the figure. Somebody asked me on the Undisputed Truth actually, what is your most underrated figure? Overrated and underrated. And this one was the first one I went to when it said underrated. It one of them figures, it got so much shit pretty much from the day it got released. The community as a whole showed it no love at all. They nitpicked it to fuck, and I thought, well, I'm still getting it. It could have come out fucking 1,000 times worse, but I knew I was getting it. One of them figures I'd waited for and waited for. Got a good array of extras with it. I think the figure as a whole is really good, but this was one of them figures. I thought it was sort of a, I don't know, a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 figure to start with. But then I started fucking about with it. I put him on the stubble because that was really weak. Sort of repainted round his eyes. People used to say that he looked like he'd got fucking guy liner on, and that was caused by the PERS system. I don't know. I think it's one of them figures. You've got to put its eyes in the right position. You've got to put its fucking at in right position. Get it posed up nice, and then I really like it. Like I said, I sort of not repainted it, but sort of touched up his face paint, sort of in more tan across his cheeks, and then the stubble down his cheeks and around his mouth. Dusted up his hat, which were too clean. Again, dusted up his coat, his trousers, you'll see when they come round. And just basically, this is one of the only figures that I never ever dust. And the reason that I don't dust it is because his jacket were covered in charcoal. Just one of our kids' charcoal crayons, just scrubbed it down to make it look like dust had fell on it. Just in a position like across his shoulders, down his chest, along his arms and so on and so forth. And then I never dust it because I don't want to brush that charcoal off. I teabagged it. I know, I fucking just said that. I didn't teabag his in, I dropped my balls in his mouth. I teabagged his shirt. I took his shirt off, wet a teabag, and then dabbed it on his shirt to get the appearance of sweat, and really stained up his shirt and just dirtied his trousers, you'll see when they come round. Again, just with a brown charcoal crayon sort of thing, just up and down his legs to dirty him. Same with his shoes. And I really like how it turned out. Value wise, I think you can still get him around for 160, 170 plus shipping. I don't know. I know people did some re-sculpts or did other Indiana Joneses. I'm not familiar with who did what sort of thing, so I'm not really going to quote them. But I like what I did to mine, and it's one of them figures that it never seems to move it down past a top shelf. It's nearly always there, and that shows how much I like it. So I do like the pose as well. I like the body lines. I like the idol in his hand and the bag. I don't know, I just like the figure. Some people say you're fucking mad because it's shit. I don't think it is. I like it, and I like the work I did on it, and that's what might make me more proud of it. So we'll just watch it come round again. Come on, Indy. Beautiful. Moving on to the DX6. Now this is probably the bang opposite of what I've just said about Indiana Jones. This got a critical acclaim from the minute it was released. There were no question about it. The prototype pictures looked good, and then they released it and the head sculpt looked even better. They just fucking killed it. On both sculpts, made a really nice figure. Downside being, we're from a really shit film. I never loved the film, but when the figure looks that good, it's worth having in your collection. Because if I never buy another Johnny Depp figure, then I can say that I've still got that. That is my adaptation of Johnny Depp. So, yeah, I'm more than happy with it. Everything about the figure is good. His head sculpt, his fucking clothes, his accessories. He got like a ship diorama base, which were good. Like I said, another head sculpt, which were good. Yeah, just killed it with his figure. Still up there. If people ever mention best stock toys head sculpt, nearly always comes up, and fucking understandably so. This is virtually a shrunk down version of Johnny Depp. It's perfection. There were another somebody released, wait, Medicom? Somebody else released one. Might have been Enterbay or Medicom, I can't remember, right at the same time. And it was just a fucking joke compared to this one, because this one is just that damn good. Price wise, again, there seem to be a lot of them around, or they were, and I think it'd probably be worth a little bit more than Indiana Jones because it gets more love. But I think you'd still pick one up for way less than 200 quid. I think you'd be looking 170, 180, that would be my best guess, or that's what I would recommend somebody to look for one. But it is a beautiful figure, and again, this is one never really moves down past top shelf. Yeah, I really like it, although like I say, I'm not a massive fan of the film. Right, rolling on to the DX07, Luke Skywalker. Again, I would say, if anybody asks, the best value DX figure so far, got to be this one. That don't make it best, not by a long stretch, but for value, I've got to say yeah. You get both figures, body, head sculpt, air sculpts, two outfits, although they're basically the same, but one's battle damaged. You get this sort of diorama base, and then you get the weather vane massive diorama base as well, so really good value. I think you can still pick these up for about 180, 190 plus shipping. These prices might alter depending on what country you're in, but I'm basing it on what I see. So if I give you a value, this is what I think is fair in this country. You would obviously have to convert your dollars, your pound to dollars, and then work it out. But these are just my opinions anyway. Like I said, I don't want no sellers to pop up and say, "Now then, you prick, you've knocked me fucking £20 off." Or someday, I don't know, a buyer saying, "Oh, cheers, Clipper, you said I could get this for 130, but where from?" I'm just saying what I would be looking to pay. So I'll make that clear. I've got to say, this figure, there's no problem with it. I like the sculpts, I like the body they used, I like the accessories, I like the outfits, I like everything. But for some reason, it fucking bores me to tears. I don't know why. I've got no pleasure out of posing it, although it's really articulated. But it's pretty much, I'll finish a pose and I'm like, that'll do. And I put it in cabinet. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's colour or outfit. It don't catch my eye. I think it probably spent about 2 days in a top cabinet, and then it went down to the next one, down to the next one, and the only thing keeping it off at bottom is the fact that there's 3 Michael Jacksons down there. I don't know. If I didn't collect DXs, this would have been gone a long time ago. And like I said, I don't know why. I don't know if I need a Darth Vader with it. I don't know what it is. But like I said, there's no problem with the figure, don't get me wrong, but it's just one I don't love. I don't know why. Like I said, the prices out there, I think they'd still be available, and I think they go for about 170, 180. So that's probably what you should be looking to pay. Anything less, and you've got a good deal. Right, rolling on to the DX08, and it's the Jack Nicholson Joker from the '89 Batman. Beautiful figure, but a terrible DX set. Worst DX set other than the Michael Jackson for the stuff you got. No extra head sculpt, all you basically got were an extra coat and a few little accessories, some hands. Just, I don't know if Nicholson's likeness cost a fortune or what it were. I don't know. I've pretty looked at really through friends in the community. Stephen Morris, namely, sent me a art museum head sculpt, the melting phase, and a beret, which I actually like displaying more so than this head. This head is fucking awesome and I loved it when I got it. But I've put it because I want to show it stock when I'm doing this collection video. So yeah, that is the stock head and hat and gun obviously. But like I say, I have in collection, and in some of my other videos you'll see it with like the melting head. But I don't know. I like it obviously, really like it. I think they've now improved on that head sculpt with the Mime version, although the Mime version again gets no love. But this is a really good figure, and if you've got the 89 setup, obviously you're going to have it. I would think the value on this one, I think this one went out of stock pretty quick, although it's now coming back into stock, I see. So there is a few available. I'm thinking you're going to be paying somewhere around 180, 190. Which probably is about right. You're not going to get much for your money, apart from an awesome looking figure. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with a figure, but when you want bang for your buck, you're not getting as much bang, only that flag. So, but yeah, that's what you'll be paying for one, I would think. Any less, if you can get it, and I would say, again, you've done well. Moving on to the DX09, and as you know, that's the 89 version of Batman, played by Michael Keaton. Awesome figure. One of those figures, when you see it in hand, it's like, fuck, they've just shrunk down the real figure. Pretty much got it all right. There were a lot of complaining about the seam on the top of the head that you can hardly see, where you open the back of the head so you can move the purrs. There were a lot of moaning about that, but other than that, it pretty much got much love from the start. As you can see, I've got it displayed on the Mime version Joker stand, so I won't have it rotating. The cape, some love it, some hate it. I don't mind it. I can work with it. It's got a wire around it. The material is really good, but some don't like the wire. They want the cape just to fall natural. If that's what you want, then there is a Tony May cape out there for you. I haven't swapped it, although I would probably consider, depending on how much it costs, because I want to pay top dollar for a cape, that I don't mind using this one, if that makes sense for you. But really nice figure. And I will say I've got a lot to be thankful to this figure for, because this review sort of took my channel to the next level. I got a lot of subscribers around this time, and it was down to this figure. I think I got it pretty early, and I did a quite in-depth review. Yeah, I also put a pose in it, which I think it was second part at review, and it was sort of the gliding pose as he were coming down to land. I got it. You know when you do a pose and you look at it, you think, oh fucking hold on a minute, I've got it. It was one of them poses, and I knew I'd get a good reaction, and it did. Pretty much went to Sideshow Freaks and become known as the Theclipperking pose, which I was buzzing about, because I think if you were to say, do you know what the Theclipperking pose is on this figure, most people would know. So I'm buzzing about that, although I'm not fucking, don't want it to make me big-headed, so I'm fucking, my head's big enough. But yeah, great figure, and pretty sought after. I think you'd be looking to pay about 200 quid on this, maybe 210. It is one of them figures that holds its price really well. It's a Batman, and it is a good figure. Like I say, throw a different cape on it if that one doesn't suit you. You pretty much got a perfect version of the 89 Batman. Moving on to the DX10, and it's the T-800. I suppose we can call it the clean version now, from Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Straight up and down. He's got his shotgun in left hand, and him firing off a shot on his Hasta La Vista baby pistol, looking down his arm. Very nice. So, right, this figure, when it come out, I can remember, it was pretty much, half of people said it's not as good as the MMS version, half of people said this was superior in every way. I've got to put myself in the category that thought this were better in every way. I think the only category that the MMS version were better were the fact that the outfit had been scuffed up a bit. This one is very, very clean, but it is all real leather. So I think if you do the trade-off, I'd take the clean look with it being real leather, because I just think it just falls fucking so well. Look at the realistic fucking creases and crunch marks in this. Oh, it's beautiful. Some people said it looked too young, to which I would say the MMS version looked like Crazy Frog. I don't know, I just think the body proportions were really good. I will say also, the black t-shirt never come with this version, so I kept that off my MMS version, and the roses and flower box was also with the MMS version, but I kept them for this. So there is good points about the MMS version. If that's what you've got and you're happy with it, then so be it. But I thought that the DX10 were a step up nearly in every category from the MMS version. Price wise, this one fucking come down quick for some reason. I had two DX10, in fact I've still got two DX10s, haven't I? Yeah, I have. Yeah, because my other DX10 is holding a DX13 head. Sorry about that, forgot. Yeah, I've got two versions of this. They were going for about £200 at one bit, and they've dropped down now to about £170, and I think that is a fair price, because I think that that is sort of better than release price. So just because the DX13's come out, people don't show it no love. In fact, the reason that it might have gone back up now, to be honest, again, I ain't checked it. But if somebody come to me and says, Rick, what should I be paying for a DX10, do you think? I say, I would be putting an offer in a 160 and then letting seller talk me up to 170. That's what I'd be saying. That might be wrong, it might be right, but that is what I would do. And I think it's a really nice figure. Moving on to the DX11, and as you can see, it's the Joker. One of them figures, every fucking wanted it, and probably everybody's got it, and if not, they've had it. Really, really good figure. Just two really good head sculpts, one with purrs, one with a sort of laughing out loud head sculpt. A load of extras, the desk, the chair, the diorama background. Just a fucking top figure all round. Check out my review, because I did go in depth on this one as well. Nice coat, although I don't think it's movie accurate. I think it wanted dirtying up a little bit, but all in all, really good. I will say on mine, I have wet the hair, and I have done some repaint work on the face. Sort of more smudged, like more a washed out colour. He's not been freshly made up sort of thing now. I dulled him down a little bit, but then sort of clammed him up with the use of the spray. Put a little bit more red around the mouth, and a little bit more black around the eyes, just to make the whites of his eyes stand out and pop a little bit more. I will say as well, I've not got best lighting on this figure at the moment, but because of the DX style bases, I've got to put the turntable on top of this drum sort of thing, so they're not getting the best lighting. But I will say, everybody knows it's a really good figure. To pick one of them up, I think you're ranging between 200 and 220 quid. Everybody wanted it, and it is a top figure. However you pose it, you can't make it look bad. With either head, it's fucking awesome. And like I say, there are millions of Batman fans out there, and most of them want a DX11 Joker. Right, rolling on to the DX12, and as you all know, definitely a top 3 figure for me. I've done that much work to it and bought that many things for it, I can't help but fucking love it. So I'll try and crack on. You see, this one's got the long version of the Tony May cape. I also bought the battle length, which is the shorter one of the two. I modded it to fuck. Anybody not seen the DX12 mod video on my channel, if you are interested and you want to try any of these things, please go back and have a look. I can't cover everything in this because it took me fucking ages. But just everything that I knew you could do to it, I basically did. I've got the Tony May modded head with a squinting eye section in it. I even bought the Robbie the Painter style faceplate, which was sort of a cut down version of that head. So it's got the more accurate mouth sculpt, although this ain't wearing it. This has got the angry mouth sculpt on, but that's got the squinting eyes. I've also obviously got my other Batman head, sort of with a black painted eyes. So that's my Batman version. I also got one Dark Spartan cape, which he's wearing. That's the wired cape, so it gives it the wind effect. Takes some posing, but a really nice cape. I think I've got 2 different Batman cowls. I blackwashed the Bruce Wayne head, dirtied it up, made it look like he had just took the mask off, so to speak. And again on that, did the mods on the body, the hands, the gauntlets, shrunk the costume down, well, sort of moulded the costume down around his body, cut his gloves down like that one is. Just did everything basically. If you've not seen the mod video and you're interested, have a look. Right, a standard version of this figure would probably set you back now between 200 and 220. A modded one, depending on what it's got with it, I don't know. What would I want for mine? Fucking hell, you wouldn't even want to know. To part me from that figure, I'd be wanting 300 quids upwards, I would think. And that for that, obviously, you'd get both things. I'm not saying I'm selling it because I never would, but I'm just telling you what I feel that mine is worth with everything. But yeah, a figure I certainly love. I just, like I said, when you take a figure you already like and you, I don't know, you mod it to your taste, then you can't help but love it. Like I said, this and the Superman and other bits and bobs I've done, it sort of keeps my attention on the figure, and that is the case. Like I said, if you could pick a standard one up between 200 and 220, I would say don't let that figure pass you by. Moving on to the DX13, I'm back in Terminator mode. I will say that that one is only the out and out DX13. That's with a really damaged head. I went for the really damaged look on this one. Smashed chest, ripped up hands, fucked up arm, fucked up leg, and the proper damaged clothing. But then what I did, because the other sculpts were too good to miss, I took that and the battle damage jacket, mixed up the accessories and what have you, and made sort of a semi-damaged version, sort of from the Cyberdyne shootout scene. So I've got that's a DX13 head on a DX10 body, but using a DX13 jacket, but then obviously the Gatling gun and the bag and the bullet strip is from the DX10. So the fact I'd got the second DX10 helped, because I could take the other clean head off, and now I've sort of got sort of clean version T-800, semi-damaged, fucked up damaged, and then down there the robot, which is completely stripped to all flesh. So I do like the setup I've got. The DX13 as a standalone figure is amazing, fucking awesome. Sculpt, love everything about it. For a 1/6 figure, it's just unreal. Both heads have got purrs. This one's got an LED light up eye. Like I said, newly developed body. Outfit's good because they went away from the leather again. They went back to the similar outfit to the MMS version, but then put the bullet marks in, the rips and tears and everything. Just made an awesome figure. The DX13's a definite must own. Price wise, again, I'm thinking around 200, maybe to 210. They might still be available in some shops and you can get them for less than that. If you can, I would say, if you've seen this figure, you've seen a picture of it or a review of it and you still haven't ordered it, then you've either, it's a case that Arnie's either slept with your missus or you don't know what you want to collect. But I would say that the DX12 and probably the Superman are only really the figures that I would say are must own figures. If you're not toys collector and you've not got them three, then you are definitely slipping. Like I said, price wise, I would think on a secondary market you've got to be looking at like 200 to maybe 210, unless you can find it in stock somewhere. If you can, I'd say get it, because it is awesome. And last but not least, it's the DX14 Joker from the '89 film. It's the mime version, and this figure gets absolutely no love. Probably because it's from such a small part of a film. Probably because it's second Joker version we've had in quite a short period of time. But what I would say is, just as a standalone figure, it's fucking unreal. The tailoring's brilliant. The head sculpt is unmistakable. In fact, the head sculpt's perfect, and I don't really say that often. Watch this bitch come round and tell me that's not fucking Jack Nicholson. Look at it. Unreal. New sculpt compared to the first version. I don't know, again, it is eye-catching. I don't know, I think you could buy this in shops for probably 150 to 160, maybe less. Nobody seemed to want it. How happy I got it. I basically bought it to review it and sell it on, but I got it, reviewed it, I thought. And I then actually sold it, and then this guy was like, can you meet me here, can you meet me there, blah, 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 blah. And deal never went through, and I fucked him off. I thought, no, fuck you. You only give me what I paid for it, and I thought, fuck it, I'll keep it, because it's more than worth me keeping it. It's a good figure, a really, really good figure. Didn't bring much, bad value again, But same as the original Joker, but this one got slated for it. But I'm more than happy to have it, because I say, head sculpt wise, it's up there with any figure you care to mention. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the collection video. Totally different to any collection video I've done in past. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have gone through every single figure. Now I've got to put the Avengers back in top shelf, put that Joker back down there with Batman and other Joker. I've done every figure. It took me some time, to be honest, and I've got a funny feeling the run time might be, I don't know, an hour and a half. But like I say, watch it or watch it in stages. I hope I don't upset nobody with the price I've given, but it just saves me a lot of time, because a lot of people do ask me, like I said, the prices, and I'm not a seller, and I know what the sellers go through, but they're what I would recommend to a person to be looking to pay for certain figures. So like I said, hope you've enjoyed it, but for now, this is Theclipperking, and I'm out of here.